Thank you. Senator Sheehy.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Haynes, we've heard a lot about the politicization of job numbers and economic statistics over the past year since President Trump's taken office, but isn't it accurate that Gina Raimondo had an 800,000 job revision when she was Secretary of Commerce under the Biden administration?
That's possible, Senator. I'm not sure the exact statistics, but
yeah, no, that's what happened. That's the fact. So we're routinely told that this administration and the Republican Party has politicized numbers. We've warped data and we've lied to the American people. And the truth is, we saw manufacturing flee this country. 97% of rare earths and critical minerals are now processed in China. That data didn't seem to move the needle at all, despite us watching for decades as manufacturing critical industries fled this country under overburdensome regulation and incentivization that sent those industries to other countries. And every administration, whether they had politicized data, non-politicized, they shows you either ignored the data or lie about the data and sent those industries overseas. And now we are paying for that every single day, and Jared's job is going to be exponentially harder because so much of the critical materials he's going to need to send our astronauts back to the moon and to maintain space dominance doesn't come from America. And some of our most sensitive technology is built with components that are made in China, the very country that is working every single day to undermine our supremacy. So I'd like to hear your plan on making sure that not just that we have the data, but you are ensuring that data is shared in a timely manner so that we can make sure we're making policy decisions in this body, as well as in the executive branch, to ensure that we're bringing those industries back and ensuring we have dominance for the next century.
Thank you for that question, Senator Sheehy. First, you do have my commitment that we will be able to share that data with this committee and work collaboratively to solve these critical issues. In the executive branch, I can give one specific example. INA plays a critical role in the investment committee that is currently tasked with solving our critical mineral supply chain issues. We are mapping mine to markets for all 54 critical minerals. We've identified over 700 projects and have already deployed or committed letters of intent and term sheets for about $16 billion worth of projects covering about half of the 54 critical minerals. That's just one aspect of the work that INA is doing in terms of providing that data and making sure that principals and decision makers in the White House, obviously Secretary Lutnick, have the information they need to make the decisions to solve these problems. And we'll continue to do that if confirmed.
What is there a statute that's that structurally ties you to the Department of War so that the economic data that you're gathering and synthesizing is actually communicated in a timely manner to the people that need to know in DOW?
I'm not aware of a specific statute. We do have good connectivity with the Pentagon, the Office of Strategic Capital, and other areas within acquisition and sustainment, partly due because we have just some cross-pollination of personnel and just good relationships with the folks over there. But it could be strengthened, and if there are ideas from this committee of how to strengthen that, I'll be willing to share them and would be willing to work with you to do that.
Yeah, I would encourage you to do that because obviously what we've seen, again, especially in the last 35 years, is we've seen a pretty sclerotic bureaucracy overtake our defense acquisition system, which has placed process over outcomes. There needs to be a forcing function that ensures that DOW is not making procurement decisions and national economic strategy decisions related to our defense industrial base that are delinked from the economic reality of what happens here. And unfortunately, there's not a real feedback loop there, and the results have been apparent. You know, China builds ships 230 times faster than we do. You know, they have the ability to put more planes in the air at times than we have missiles to shoot them down. They have more material on the battlefield, the ability to project that power. And when we talk about the space economy, you know, every American interacts every single day with space, 1,000 times, a day. They don't even realize it. GPS, without thinking about it, we press go on the Apple Maps and don't realize that if we don't have an orbital infrastructure that provides that GPS data, life shuts down. I mean, Uber doesn't show up at the street corner with you anymore. Your DoorDash doesn't arrive. Our entire life evolves around an orbital economy that will be critical in Jared's new role, but probably even more critical given your role to ensure we understand that those rare earths, the quantum computing that Senator Schmidt talked about, that all is going to derive from the data you provide, DOW, to make sure that our economic supremacy goes hand in hand with our military supremacy. So I would encourage you to try to make that link a little more structural and strengthen that, because it's going to be absolutely critical in the next 10 years. Thank you.